I'm Steve. This is Fran. Today we're going to talk about top-load washers.
All right.
You know, there was a time when we just sold top-load washers when I started, because that was all there was, top-load. And then the Maytag Neptune came, and then the other front loads came from Europe, and now pretty much a lot of what we sell is front load. But it's really interesting over the last few years how top loads have the features of front loads, or so it seems, right? We can get much bigger. It was never like that. Now, if there's one piece of advice, there's one thing that I'm going to give a C, D, or F to, it's the ones without an agitator.
Exactly.
To me, it's like the agitator is what moves the clothes and moves the detergent and everything else. Not having it, I'm just at a loss for how that actually gets done.
Yeah, and we've tested that out, you know, multiple brands, multiple different times, and you still need to load the clothes as if the agitator was there, and they just don't get a lot of water and a lot of turn, and you really need clothes to turn in the detergent to really get them clean. And without that agitator, it's really difficult to do that. So really, when we sell top load, we're selling really primarily ones with the agitator there as well. So today we're going to talk more about brands versus specific models.
Yep.
So let's kick it off with LG.
I don't know how they did it. They you know, the ones my parents bought, and my parents were, you know, the usable capacity had the agitator. It was about, after take the agitator, it was about 2.3, 2.5. The LG is like 5.4, and they've got a lot of the features. I'm not sure how their Turbo 360, you know, the Turbo 360 is like the five, you know, the 5 sprays that turn every cycle into 30. I'm not sure how that really is activated in a top load.
Yeah, quick wash.
It's got the quick wash, the Wi-Fi, the dispensing. I mean, for a top load, I think this is probably, in terms of reliability, it's always been really solid on LG. I'm not much of a top load guy, but if I was to buy one, probably this one would be it.
Yeah, good value, good price points, especially around the holidays when they get promotional. You know, a lot of these, kind of what people like to with these traditional agitator top loads is the deep wash, which LG gives you the ability to do that. So overall, really good brand, solid, reliable.
Yeah, I would say this would be the, this is probably, not to get everyone to click off here because there are others, but this is probably an A or an S. This is probably the best one I think we sell.
Sounds good. So we'll go with an A.
Okay.
We like front load. It's going to be hard to get an S, I think, in the top load, but
okay, fair enough.
Okay.
Good point.
All right, let's go with profile next. Okay,
profile's got the Microban, even though you really don't need Microban in a top load. I guess they must have an excess of Microban. You know, to prevent bacteria. You get that on a front load because the water gets in the little gasket there, and then over time, if you don't dry it or leave the door open, you can get mold or mildew. Or in the back of the machine, or in the dispenser because everything's vertical.
Yeah,
so you don't really need Microban.
Yeah.
But they do have the custom dispense. So if you like to customize the detergents that you have in there, that's kind of cool. 4.9 cubic feet, which is still huge for anything.
They do a good job with the Wi-Fi. G in general has done a good job there as well, which, you know, you'll kind of sense a theme there that a lot of these brands are definitely going towards that.
Yeah, you get Wi-Fi.
Yeah.
Right, so you don't have to go down to your basement. You don't have to go to your you don't have to go to your basement to like with 4 minutes left. You got to figure out what to do.
Fortunately, you still have to go there to get the clothes and, you know, fold them. But
I would say this would be probably an A, maybe under LG a little bit.
Yeah, for sure. Next, we're going to stick with GE, but we're going to talk about, they have a commercial style series.
Oh yeah, this is the one they go up against Speed Queen. Yeah, this is the one where you can totally saturate your clothes with what is it, 50 gallons of water, something like that. So in case, like, you know, I think everyone thinks they're like in construction and mud and everything else.
And you can set that water level really at different stages there with this one.
You get the better warranty and everything else.
5-year warranty. Smaller capacity there. It's a 4.2 versus some of the.
Still fine. I don't know. There's a lot of people, I always get bashed because I think that, you know, the defill's kind of a waste of water and resources. But, you know, if you're one of those people that actually needs this is a decent machine, decent warranty. And oh, by the way, G's got service behind it, which none of the other really brands do. So you either got to go for the store with service or you buy a GE store without it. So I would say this is, I don't think you need it, but it's probably a B.
Yeah, for sure. Good warranty. It has the knob controls, which a lot of people like, kind of that old school knob control there. So we'll go with the B. Next, we're going to go with a similar style unit. Let's talk about Speed Queen. which actually has gone away in some models from the knob control, which they used to have. But
yeah, I want to love this brand. It's made in Racine, Wisconsin. The thing is, like, have you ever two-wheeled one of these things? It is just very heavy, very solid machine. As a lot of people say, now they have two series, the TC, which has got that heavy agitation, that 270 degree where it really pulls your clothes, so it's nothing for delicate, and the deep fill and everything else.
Yeah, exactly.
And then they got the TR, which is their quieter 43 decibel, but not really sure how that works because the water moves the agitator, so you get so much agitation on one and almost zero agitation on the other. And you get people that like either or. It's like new Coke, old Coke almost with Speed Queen.
Yeah.
The problem I have with it is A, it's expensive, B, there's capacity. I don't think you need Wi-Fi and all of the other stuff that it'll never have. But the problem is that although they've got the best warranty, seven years, none of that translates into overall reliability, which we measure here, sales into service calls. Just doesn't work that way. I mean, their reliability rate exceeds LG and Profile. So for that, I would say it's and I'm sorry, I'm just reading numbers here. I've got nothing against Speed Queen. I want to buy, especially stuff from the U.S., but it's a B for me.
Yeah, for sure. Definitely pricier when compared to some of the others. The warranty's nice, but it's still not very. If you need to constantly service it, it's still not great. You have the warranty, but obviously, that doesn't.
And the warranty, the people that, because they pay such low, everyone pays such low warranty rates. You're gonna have a real trouble finding someone to fix it year 4, 5, 6, 7.
Yeah, definitely smaller capacity. I think some of the other brands have caught up to them in this top load space over the last few years, so we'll go with the B. Next, let's talk about Maytag.
Yeah. Well, first thing I know is the old Maytag that my parents had and maybe your parents had is not the Maytag you're getting now. The Maytag you're getting now is, was bought up by Whirlpool under duress in 2004 after the Neptune fiasco where they sold machines that just mildewed because there's no way to get rid of the water. This is really a better, more featured Whirlpool machine.
Yeah.
So that's really what you're buying. You got good capacity. Their new features, the cold power, which you can throw all your clothes in there, whites, colors, everything, and it starts in cold, slowly warms it up.
Has that built-in water faucet into some of those models as well, where it kind of gives you that little bit of a power wash there.
Yeah, I thought Samsung used to have that. The sink and
they do the flex wash a little.
Yeah.
This one, Maytag's kind of a little bit more built into the machine, but something different.
I see. I don't know. I think you could probably get the same features for
good
less than a
capacity,
Whirlpool. I think it's a B.
Yep. Next, let's talk about Samsung.
Very innovative company, and they have set the bar for we have their front loaders, and they've set the bar for style. Yeah. But typically you don't show people your laundry room. I like the line. I bristle a little bit at their top loads because they've had some problems in the past.
Sure.
But in terms of features, they give you every kind of feature you could possibly want. Although their speed cycle, I'm not sure they measured at 28 versus LG's 30. They only have one of those, high intensity faucets where LG's got 5. I don't see how that works out so well. Front loads, yes. Top loads, I'd be careful.
Yeah, they've had some problems. They have the flex wash, like which you said before, where it's kind of like a built-in sink. You can really hand wash your clothes there. You lift it up when you're not using that.
You can do.
Very innovative, but agreed there.
I would say, I don't know. You gotta make sure that, you gotta read reviews and make sure the product's good. Now, I would say it's a B.
Okay. Finally, we're gonna end it with Whirlpool, which we alluded to when talking about Maytag.
It's on Whirlpool since 86 because that was their first product. They made that handshake agreement with Kenmore and sold more under the Kenmore label. I think for a good basic machine, I think Whirlpool is like the last person standing where you can buy something that's inexpensive, whether it's Whirlpool or Amana, and get something that's reliable, not a lot of features. And when you're talking about a top load, you're not really getting energy efficiency, water efficiency, detergent efficiency like you would on a front load, but you know, if you're looking for something less expensive under the Whirlpool Amana name, I think Whirlpool is probably the one you're going to end up buying. And I don't think that's a bad thing.
Yeah, agreed. Kind of no bells and whistles,
Yeah,
but just kind of good.
Wash
solid
my
machine.
clothes,
Yep.
you know, just like years past. I would say for what it is, it's an A or a B. Certainly not the most advanced, probably not the most price competitive when you look at features and capacity and all that other stuff, but I'd give it a solid B or A.
All right, high, low,
High B,
low
low
A,
A.
high B. There we go. All right, so that's going to end it.
All right, that's it for top loads. If you like the ranking videos, hit the subscribe button, and we'll see you in the next one. And thanks for watching.